name's Emily and this is Samantha, and we're wedding planners here in Las Vegas for a wedding. You're not touching me. Now that you have your wedding date and your venue, we can talk about the next step of the planning process, which is hiring your vendor team. The first thing, and one of the things that I consider the most important thing when hiring a vendor, is having a contract in place. I can't tell you how many times we have clients come to us that say they hired a DJ and then we go, okay, let me see the contract, let me review it, and oh, they don't have one.
And then you're like, that's cute, but really, where's the contract?
Because basically, if you don't have a contract with a vendor, I just say you can pretty much assume that they don't have to show up on your wedding day, because legally they're not binded to a contract. You can't take them to court. There's nothing you can actually do if you've given them money and they don't provide the service.
And the scary thing is something, you know, as small as even a hair and makeup person. You know, a contract, yeah, it's hair and makeup, but that's one of the most important things. So unless you're giving them some sort of deposit, you're signing some sort of contract, it makes us really nervous when you don't, because like we said,
things go wrong.
And it's happened, and it will happen, unfortunately, because, you know, they've already got your money, so why do they need to show up on your wedding day?
Yeah, if they're not binded by a contract, then I would be nervous. Definitely words and promises don't hold up in the court of law, and unfortunately we've seen this happen. If you've given money to someone and you don't have a contract in place, you can pretty much just assume that they're not going to be showing up on your wedding day.
Or what they've promised as well. You know, even when it comes to a photographer, you might have signed a contract for an 8-hour day, and then as you're getting closer, you realize, okay, I might need more time, you know? So you can always add time, that sort of thing, but you definitely want to have something in writing that's guaranteeing you what you've talked with that vendor about, whether it's the amount of time they're going to be, the amount that you're paying them with the deposit, when the payments are due. Not only is it important for you so budget-wise, but it also helps you kind of keep track, and you can put that in your checklist when those payments are due, so you know what's coming up. So again, it's not wedding day and all of these expenses are coming out. You can be put on some sort of payment plan with each of these vendors, which makes it easier for you to know what's coming in the future.
Yeah. Another important thing is to read reviews. Look online, read reviews. The internet's full of different platforms. When you're looking for a vendor, you want to make sure this isn't someone that just woke up yesterday and said, I want to start a photography business and here's my Instagram. You want to look for reviews on wedding websites. There's plenty of them out there. Look at reviews on Google. Ask the photographer or vendor how long they've been in business. Ask them how many weddings they've done.
A perfect example, you know, we just recently signed a bride, and she found a photographer on Instagram, and we were both looking, and it looked like all they had done was elopements. So we were like, you know, have them send you some galleries of weddings they've done.
A full wedding day.
Full wedding.
Do they know how to shoot getting ready photos? Can they shoot inside, indoor and outdoor?
Right, because her Instagram was gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but it was all outside elopements. So once our bride got on the phone with her, she realized, you know, yes, her price was great, but what she was looking for, she wasn't able to get from that photographer.
Well, you have to think too, people on Instagram are showing their best work.
Totes.
I mean,
I always look my best.
You can totally ask vendors for personal recommendations. You can ask them, say, can I get a few email addresses and phone numbers of past clients, just so you can vet them and make sure that they have done several weddings and that they have that experience. Something about this industry is the wedding professionals, it's not a regulated industry. So you have to do the vetting, you have to do your research, because this isn't an industry where people wake up and they get a degree. Anybody can be a wedding professional, so you have to make sure that these people have the experience and that they're going to be able to do a good job for you. If this is a qualified, good vendor, they're not going to have a problem giving you these things that you're requesting. If you haven't hired a wedding planner, this is a really good time to do so, because wedding planners are going to be able to give you a list of preferred vendors that they love to work with. These are people that are tried and true, they are experienced, they've worked with throughout the years, they know they're going to show up and do a good job. You can get venue recommendations or preferred vendor lists from venues, but a lot of times venues have outdated vendor lists. They are getting kickbacks from maybe they're recommending a certain vendor and the vendor's giving them a commission. So you really want to do your research.
Something that's important when you're looking at those vendor lists is, like Emily mentioned prior to, someone might have just woken up and said, I want to be a photographer, I want to be a videographer. You want to make sure they are a legit business. You can't just hire someone and expect them to show up. They need to have...
Do they have a business license?
Right.
Do they have a certificate of insurance?
Because all venues need that.
Absolutely.
And so, when you hire this photographer, if a venue asks you for that and you're not able to provide that, you can't use that particular vendor. And you have to find someone else who does have that information.
When you're hiring your vendors, another thing you want to ask them is, what happens if something happens to them? Do they have a backup plan? Do they have a team and someone that can step in if something happens to them? Read reviews.
So important.
Find experienced vendors that have business license, that have insurance.
Make sure you have a contract signed by both yourself and the vendor.